I just realized that I like something which most people find incredibly creepy. I like abandoned buildings. There's something beautiful about them. I don't know why, but it's just like this thing that attracts me. It's interesting. Whenever I find these in video games, you know, like Stalker or something like that, just like admiring them. But anyway, I don't want to go closer because there might be squatters inside, and if they're asleep, I don't want to bother them. But like, look there, right? Broken window. And look here, broken window. And you're going to find a lot of them. Look, broken window there. And there's a question, why are there so many broken windows here? Is it because there's people who like to break windows that live in this area? Why do you think there's broken windows everywhere? Look, another broken window over there. There's no broken windows over there though. Why are there no broken windows over there? Do you think the people there are window connoisseurs and they like windows? And in this area, do you think there's people that hate windows? Why do you guys think this is? The reason that there's broken windows over here is because no one cares about this property anymore. The reason that there's broken windows over here is that at one point someone took a stone and threw it out a window and it broke. And then someone else came and saw the broken window. You know what that person thought? He thought there's no consequences for breaking a window. So he broke another. Do you know why they broke windows? Because breaking windows is fun. And if there's no consequences for breaking windows, people are going to start breaking windows. It's actually called the broken window theory. The idea is that if you don't punish small crimes like littering, breaking windows, it's going to escalate and you're going to end up with bigger crimes. Because most people, most criminals, they don't start by doing big crimes. They start doing little things. And they notice that when they do the little things, there's no punishment. And they start thinking that the law is more like a guideline than something that should be respected. And if they don't get punished the first time, eventually they go to bigger and bigger crimes and cause bigger and bigger problems, to the point where the law catches up to them. And something that could have been corrected when they were young ends up with them having to spend their life in jail, ruining their life, ones of their friends, their family, because they weren't corrected when they were young. I noticed in the United States there's like a lot of articles which are pushing for the idea that property isn't important, that I guess human lives is more important than property. And to an extent that's true. But if you think about it, you can't really disassociate human lives from property, because humans are the ones that build the property. Humans are the ones that have their life around certain properties. So for example, a business can feed an entire family or more, and if that business burns down, then those people might end up starving on the streets. You know, in the United States, property was so important that people who were horse thieves were being hanged, because back then a horse was a very important animal. You couldn't really have a household without one. There was nothing that you could use in order to carry your goods. There was nothing you could use to plow your field. Having no animals of burden was a death sentence for people, so that's why they punished it so severely. Really, the only people that don't care about property and they're trying to push this idea of property isn't important are communists. No other ideology around the world considers property not to be important. And they talk about abolishing private property, but in reality they're not abolishing shit. It's just a weasel word. What they want is to steal, because they're not going to destroy the property, right? They want the government to own the property. So they think that they're going to be on top of that government, or they're going to have friends that are going to be on top of the government. And when the government takes the private property away from people, they think they're going to get a slice. That's really why the word communist bandits is being banned in China and other places. Such a stupid thing. Like, you know, the idea that, okay, a human life is more important than property. When you hear that, most people will say, yeah, no, that makes sense. But when you look at Minneapolis, $500 million in damage of property, right? Now, go to any country you want, even Soviet countries, if you will. Islamic theocracies. Any country, capitalist countries, doesn't matter. Just go to one. And ask them, you know, look at their law books, look at their lawmakers. And see how much would you get in jail if a person were to commit a murder versus if a person were to do $500 million in damages. I don't think there's any society that wouldn't punish you more. And, you know, it's just property. It's just property, bro. Why are you upset? It's just property, right? It's funny how they're doing apologia for communists. Again, like there were more than 5 papers which wrote articles about it. And we're making apologia for communists, saying it's like, oh yeah, you shouldn't. Why do people care about property so much? Blah, 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 blah. I mean, you have entire families investing their livelihoods into building up a small business. And they want to feed themselves, they want to feed their parents, they want to fill their children. And then it's gone. And, you know, like, they're working class people, so they look towards the left, the people that are supposed to defend the working class. And what do they say? They say, well, it's just property, bro. It's just property. And it's also interesting because, again, like, property and human lives are so intertwined. There's a lot of people that are willing to defend their property. And this is why every single communist revolution ended bloody, because when you go in order to vandalize or to nationalize or to destroy someone's property, they come out and they try to defend it. And usually they come out with guns. So, you know, the communists need to escalate and have a better response for that. And that's what happens. That's what you get when you don't read history. Though I'm pretty sure, like, the people who are advocating for this, the ones that are writing in newspapers, they know about history. They're just trying to trick the masses into being ignorant, trying to pretend that they're compassionate. It's almost like the communists think they have a monopoly on compassion and empathy. I've been reading a lot about the French Revolution now. Apparently, like, there was this fascist guy, general. Couldn't remember his name because it's in French, you know. And he was a monster, you know, like the way he would behave. But anyway, he did this experiment. He lined up a bunch of communists. And he said, all of you that have null numbers are going to get shot. Everyone else, you can take a step forward and you can choose a person that has a null number and you're going to be shot in their stead. Not a single communist took that step forward. You know, they talk about empathy and camaraderie and all this other nonsense. Cat, I'm talking about communism, okay? It was a moving message. Why? The cat was moved, I guess. Yeah. You know, it's only compassion and empathy, the way Thomas Sowell likes to describe it, and it's such a beautiful way. Honestly, Thomas Sowell has to be one of the most severely underrated people of our time. And he said something in the likes of, it's always empathy when you talk about what you should do with other people's money. And that's communism in a nutshell. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you guys in the comment sections.